Hello, good evening and happy Wednesday. You're back with Sandra from Sandra's Stamp and Craft Studio, and I am here doing a sketch challenge this evening. I haven't done a sketch for a little while. I've just had my Wing It Wednesday group, and I set them the sketch challenge just as a challenge. Anybody who joined us wanted to play could take us up on that challenge or not. And I thought, oh, I really love this challenge, so that's what I'm doing tonight. So I'm using some familiar products, but I'm also using the Countryside in DSP, which the blue ones, which we've seen before. I have prepped a few bits, but yeah, this is going to be real fun. So I want to show you the challenge first. Hi, Maxine. Welcome aboard, my dear. Okay, I'm going to start off by sharing the sketch. So this was one I chose off Pinterest. I do love a good sketch challenge. The reason being they are neutral. There's no givens really. You interpret, hi Sue, you interpret a sketch challenge according to what materials you have and what you would like to do with it. There is no determination on colour. It's not a preset. It says on this sketch that it was for a rosette, that spin wheel in the middle. It says rosette, and it does say some sewing machine stitching. I'm not doing those, and I have left a couple of bits off. But in the whole, my challenge tonight is going to mirror what is on that sketch there. I really thought it was quite an interesting one to do. Hi ladies joining. I'm really chuffed to do it. So that's the sketch. If you want to take a screenshot of it, then jump on there and click the buttons and just take a screenshot. If you do any combination of this and you want to post your creations in the thread, I really must get in the routine of, I take the photo all the time and I forget to put them up. So I will put the photo up as a separate post, and then you can pile all your photos underneath. Okay, so Trish, if you watch this on replay, you can pop yours in from earlier. I know Tash was doing something else, but in the Wing It group, if anybody wants to, they can. So let's get you down onto the table. You've got the challenge there. So I'm going to get you down onto the table. I did cure the wobbly camera from Sunday if you were joining me. So I'm going to push you across here just a sec. And there we are. There's the catalogue ready to go. I'm going to move my drink out of the way because I have nothing but ice left, I think. So I'm using the Sweet Songbird. Now that's this one here. If you remember the sketch, the challenge that has where the rosette is, I was looking for something that I could fill that little hole with. And I thought, I don't really want to necessarily do a rosette. I'm just going to move that camera very slightly. It's not a droopy camera. It's just me getting it so you can see the whole catalogue. There you go, whole area. So I thought if I did something different to flowers and florals, I will put the Songbird. So I have the Songbird punch that's propping my card up. So you haven't seen that yet. There we go. So this is the Sweet Songbird punch. So we have the bird image on here, and we have the wing and the body, and then the lips, and then the eyes I'm going to stamp. So all I'm stamping tonight is the sentiment and the eyes. Seems a little strange thing to do. Okay, so there we go, and there's our image. I'm not stamping these. I'm not stamping the branch this time. But I will be using just the eyes. There's two sets of eyes here. I'll use those ones, and the sentiment. Okay, so pop that aside because I've got everything out that I need. Okay, and the punch can sit to the side of me. Okay, so there's that one, and I'm using the lovely blue papers. You'll see why, because I'm choosing the tree design here, and I think that that's a really nice one to do. I don't know why I did my other bookmark. I just moved it somewhere, but hey, let's do that. So here was the sketch. I've shown you that on the screen, so you can. Yeah, that's that. You can see you've seen that on the screen, so you can just see where I am there. So this rosette is going to be your Songbird. I'm leaving out this piece below the sentiment, this little bar going across here, and the stitching, machine stitching. I'm not doing that. Okay, so there's my sketch, just to remind you. So we are starting with, I've prepped a few bits just to save a bit of time really. So we're going to start off with a white base card. This is a tent because I just liked the way that looked. So you will remember my lovely blue papers that I've now lost. They've fallen on the floor. There we go. So my lovely blue papers here, we have used these several times, the Countryside Inn papers. They are gorgeous. Though I just want to say that the papers, we've got two more days tonight, tonight and then two more. We've got the 29th and the 30th before the 15% off the DSPs finishes. So if you do have an order to go through, I will be placing another one on the 30th about 9 o'clock at night. If we say 9 o'clock, then I will be processing it then. Okay, so just moving this slightly. I've got my glasses there if I should need them. I'm going to grab my trimmer. Move those out of the way, and that. I have my little pile of goodies beside me as usual. So I've used this one because it's got the trees in the background, and I'm going to make a background layer for my card. So I'm going to go down 1/2 centimetre. Inches, people in the States use 1/4 inch less than your standard card. So I'm going down to 10 centimetres this way. Discard that. And then 14.3 this way. Okay, discard that, but scraps always get used. So that's that one, and that's going to be my matte layer on there. So I'm going to get that one down actually, so it doesn't get in the way. These flowers on the back, I think these look like little flower heads and a heart of the flower and a little stem and a couple of little leaves. It's very, very tiny, but it is a nice print. But sadly, we do have to sacrifice. We can't use both sides. But the trees on this occasion had the edge. There is a paper in there that's got little birds on it, but it was too heavy. So I did choose to go with the trees. The Songbird's sitting in the tree, isn't he? So we start with that one. Then we've got 2 layers to put on next. I've actually part prepped those. So in our sketch, we had 2 different layers, and this one was tucked into the corner of the other. So we just had a little right angle round here. So for those measurements, I did 7 centimetres on the back one, and then came down 1/2 centimetre, which I would normally have a border all the way round. You need to come in on that camera. Sorry, girls. Peeps. There might be some men in there. Sorry. Yeah, let's bring you in. You can see a little bit better. There we go. Straighten him up. So we've got the 7 centimetre square on the back and then 6.5 on here. But instead of doing it as a layer, the sketch took it right down into this corner down here. So these are parallel. Okay, so I'm going to take my little silicone mat. You might be able to see things a bit better on there. And turn it over. I've pre-texturized this. I've put it through an embossing folder, and it is the one I love at the moment, the exposed brick. Definitely my favourite. So I'll bring that down there. Not in the centre. Force of habit going to the centre. Got to come over so that it's down into this corner. Okay, so that goes onto there like so. I bring that up on the mat. You can see, if I just tilt that slightly, you can see the exposed brick embossing folder. And there we go. So that's going to come on next. So I'm going to turn this over and put some pads on the back here. Use the full size ones. So one in each corner and one in the middle, just to, like so. Kick them out of the way. Two together. I have a bin here somewhere, that way. I'll just be right-handed for me bin tonight. So that's going down into the corner. So we're going to put that square again, and I'm going to bring this in the centre, kind of like top third. So I've got an even border-ish around the left, right and the top. Okay, so that's going to go into there. So that's building up from the bottom. Okay, again, we'll just put that to the side of the camera, and we'll work for the next bit. Now for this next piece, I want about 1 inch or 2.5 centimetres. So I'm just going to line that up on there. There's no set width with sketches, you've heard me say before. They are whatever you want to make them. Now, I think I'm going to start with this at 9 centimetres and see if that's going to be... This is 7. The navy is 7. 9 would be too much. It's a centimetre either side. So I'm going to go 8. So I've got 1/2 centimetre either side. So it's 8 centimetres there. Discard that piece. So this is a panel to come across here, and it's going to hang over both sides. Okay, it's going to come down quite low, on there. And you can have that whichever way up you want. I kind of like the flowers or the knots along the top there. So it's going to be that one. We're going to have a little tiny piece of balmy blue. This doesn't actually look straight to me on here. So what I'm going to do is grab a post-it note. Because the paper I've got there is so small, another little tip coming up for you. Because this is so small, I think there's a slight bulge on that side, and I haven't got my little tiny guillotine easy to hand. It's away. So let's just push this onto the sticky end of a post-it note. Okay, so your sticky end of your post-it note is holding that in place. I want that to be a straight line. So I'm going to make sure that I'm eyeballing that where I want it to be. You've got the cutting track is the little gap down the middle there. I'm just going to bring that back slightly. I start in the middle this time and go up and down. If you've got a little tiny whisper like this and you don't want to tear it as you try and drag it down, there is a slight bow on that, very slightly. Yeah, it tapers down quite nicely there. So yeah, discard that. If you want to start with this tiny little piece, if you start too near the edge, it will just, the blade will drag, will just pull it and tear it, and you don't want that to happen. So start in the middle and go upwards away and downwards away, okay? And that's a little tip with these type of blades, okay? Well, you know I use my little baby guillotine a lot. So I think that's all I need to cut for you. Okay, that can go out of the way. This post-it note is good to use again, definitely. I've only balanced it on the side. So we will take this and we're going to use the words that I took off the stamp set. I have my Night of Navy ink pad here. Okay, I'm going to be done in record time tonight, I think, because I'm so prepped. So the words on here is, it's your special day. Okay, so I'm just going to tap that. It's from the Sweetest Songbird stamp set in here. It's your special day. Okay, I was looking for a single line greeting. So ink that up in Night of Navy. And then I'm going to stamp this near the top. The reason being for the top, I'm going to trim this down. Just try not to get my head in the way. So stamp that there. The reason I'm going at the top is because I'm going to put some adhesive along the bottom. There we go. It's just going to peek out the top for you. Now, it's definitely too long. I don't want it to be this long. So it's going to be coming on here. It's going to be poking out. It's going to be in line this side, and then short end on here. It's going to come onto the white. So we need to just trim this edge straight, a little bit shorter, and run up there. And then this end, I kind of want it a little bit this side, but no set width really, no set length. Just see if that's okay. If we need it shorter, I will just use the scissors and paper snips. So there we have a little sentiment, and it's stamped along the top. Okay, so what we will do here is to take the tombow, we're going to just lay this on it just to see how it's going to look. And in the sketch, I can refer you back to the sketch, just have another little, oh, not that one. Let's just have another little, grab that one up and bring that across. Just have a look at the sketch and just see how I'm doing at the moment. You can see the two layers into the corner. You can see the sentiment. You can see the wider strip going across. Okay. So we're kind of working through that at the moment. I'll remind you again of that in a little while. I'm just going to slide this up to the top, get that one out of the way, and come back up here so you can see the table and me. And there we go. So I'm lining this up on this edge here. So I'm just going to drizzle the tombow very gently along the bottom here and just stretch it out. So it's just a tiny little bit along there. And I'm going to place this on the end, so these are parallel, which is as the sketch was. But like I say, you don't have to use the sketch literally as it is. Tonight I'm trying to get it as close as I can. My sound is on, my dear. It's definitely on. Yeah, it's like it normally is. Is anybody else having problem hearing? That's what I forgot to do, was put little camera on dog. And did someone put a comment in to say if anybody else is having trouble hearing me? Okay, I might have just lowered my voice a couple of times. Okay, so I can see there's a little run of glue along there. You probably can't see that on the camera, so I'm just going to run my edge of my tweezers along there to take that out. If there's any excess glue, we can rub that off with a rubber. So I'm going to place this back in position. I've already raised, you can hear, no, excellent. It's good. So I'm going to place this on here. It's just hanging off either side, and this one is just hanging off the ends, which is how the sketch was. So I'm going to put Tombow over all of that except the very extreme end pieces. Okay, so the whole of this middle section, except the very extreme ends. Okay, like so. We can come on there, place that. We've got a little bit of a tail at the bottom. It's going to bring that same shape through. But sketches always just are your interpretation. I like them because it gives you somewhere to start. Because they're black and white, there's no, like I said earlier, there's no governance on colour. There's no trying to sway you to do something that you haven't got, you don't know what you're doing. You're just working with shapes, purely just shapes. So that's there at the moment. Our next challenge, we're going to do the bird. Okay, so this is our bird, Songbird builder punch, and we've got the component pieces there, and we're going to use all of them. So let me get my scraps over. I've done balmy. We've got a bit of moonlight. So I'm going to use a bit of moonlight for the body. Okay, just for the bird's body. So that's the big piece here. So just going to punch that one out like so, and he's going to face that way. I think that's the way I want him to go. So the rest of that can go in our little scrap bin. Okay, that's there. So now we turn to the Night of Navy, and we're going to cut the other little pieces. We're going to make him have a navy body. We're going to have a navy wing and a navy beak. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp the eyes in position to the pieces. So for starters, we've got the body here, the dark body. So I'll punch that one out, and that's going to come along his chest there. You can choose what colours you like to do these completely. It doesn't have to be a set colour. So this one's going to just come along that bottom edge, and then we're going to have a wing. So, and the little heart here is actually his beak. So I'm just covering those up so they don't jump out, and they're the two other pieces. And that's all we need, just those three. Okay. So just get those bits out of the way because they're just going to get in the way. Okay, so I'm going to raise these pieces. I want to give it the a little bit more depth. I'm going to put the body here, his chest. I'm going to put that on flat. So this is going to be Tombow. You just haven't seen me use this one much, so it was a good, I just was looking through the catalogue trying to find something that wasn't a flower to use tonight. Okay, so that's going flat. Then the beak here is going to, the wing is going to have some little pads. I've got those out somewhere. There's the little ones. So pop a little dimensional on there for the wing. So we take that backing off, and then we pick him up, and we're going to stick the wing coming out from an angle from his body here. So his eyes will be at the top there. We've got a wing kind of about there. Okay, and then his little beak. We can't put that on dimensionals. It is too tiny. His beak is going to come in here. Okay, so we're going to have him tilted down a little bit. We've got a little beak coming in there. Okay, it's going to face the other way though, Sandra. The beak is open. So we want him, I'm right-handed, so we want the beak facing that way. So if I put a tiniest little dot on here, and I mean tiny, hardly anything, and that's just going to come there as his little beak. Now I've got the features on. The only thing left, he's looking a bit blind. He needs some eyes. So if I get this card out of the way for a minute, pop that up there so you can just still see it, so we know where we're aiming. And then my Night of Navy ink that we use for the greeting. Now I've taken out of the stamp set, I've taken the, where have I put it? I've hidden it. It's gone. It's disappeared. Oh, I do this, don't I? Oh no, it's underneath there. I put the trimmer on top, so I covered him. So these are the two sets of eyes that were in there. The little round ones and then the little fallen asleep ones. So I've kept him awake today. I know it's late, but I've kept him awake. So these eyes are going to go wherever you feel that they are appropriate to put them. Obviously, it's not going to be straight on like a human. It needs to be in keeping with his features, which is why I kind of put the features first. If you've got a blank bird and you try and put some eyes on there, believe me, it won't make sense when you put the other features on. So I prefer to do it that way. So there's my little fella. Okay, he's quite cute, isn't he? Bring back the card. Quite a bright light on there, isn't it? You can see the shadow through my phone, sorry. A little bit on there. So I'm going to turn this over. Now he's going to sit where that the little rosette was showing on my sketch. Now I want him to be raised, okay, but this piece is hanging off the end of this panel. So I'm only going to put 3 little dimensionals, one on there on the tail, and I'm going to put a couple at the top there. So I'm only covering this top edge of his body. So I have one little mini one on here. It would just fit in sideways, like so. And take him off. And then this way, I'm just going to put a couple across there. I think he can have one big one, this end. Running smooth there. Take that off. And then he can have one little one at this end. Okay, like so. There we go. And I think he's good to be turned over. And then he's ready to fly. He's going to sit on here. Okay, so we've only got the dimensionals along the top end. Okay, now, there we go. Don't need this anymore. I'll just leave it there in case it might make it easier to see rather than the black. Now, I'll tell you how the branch came about. I'm going to bring you in closer because I still want you. That's better, isn't it? You've got a lot of white on there, but you've seen that is actually, if I tilt it, you can see more that that's the exposed brick. It's not plain white, okay? So the branch came about by accident. I had a scrap of green card, and when I punched my bough punch here, I ended up trying to use up scraps, and I got half of a branch, and I thought, turn that round. He could actually be sitting on that. So what I ended up doing was punching another 2 of these. So this is garden green and my scrap container coming on with my garden green. And take a couple of pieces out of here. That might actually do both. So we're going to come along here and we're going to, if I go corner to corner, I think I can fit that in. There are 2 that will come out. I don't need that one, but I can use that on something else. So there's one whole branch. And if I turn it this way, no, I'm not going to get the other one out. So let's grab another piece and do another one, full branch, corner to corner here. Okay, as long as I've got the tip in and the end in. There we go. That's part of one there. Okay, so that's those ones done. Now, I can use 2 whole branches here now, because how I'm going to post these on here, you're going to see. I thought he needs to be sitting on a branch, so I want him sitting on this end. Okay, you can see that there. So I want him sitting on that, so I could leave him with the branch coming out. So we'll get that one down first. So I'm going to put a little dot on the tip there, and just a little bit on these branches. A really noisy bird outside. I've got my window open, so I'll probably start getting bugs in there soon, won't I, as it gets dark. But a very noisy bird singing out there, or chirping away, I don't know, it's kind of making a bit of a racket. So that one's sort of to make him look like he's sitting on something. Then per the sketch challenge, the branch was actually coming down here, wasn't it? So we're going to bring it down there. So you've got another branch coming this way, some more leaves coming off that tree. Okay. Are you still there? This is getting a bit gunky on the end, so I'm just going to wipe that. Can't have gunky glue, can we? So I'm going to put that just a little bit on the branches and down the stem there. A bit more there. And then I'm going to tuck this one underneath, like so, and just having another little branch coming off the tree. So he's sitting on one, and we've got the branches coming the other way. So there we go. He's starting to take shape, isn't he? Okay, let's tilt that again so you can see the bricks. Okay, so that kind of was my sketch challenge, nearly finished. And then I decided actually, excuse me, I needed to put some gems somewhere. It needed a bit of bling somewhere. So I grabbed my gems, and I've grabbed a Night of Navy pen, alcohol marker. So this is the dark Night of Navy. Okay, bearing in mind this was navy card we used. These have a wide point and a narrow point, a bullet point, okay, on the end here. So just look at the end of your nibs and just see where that says. So this is the wide end. We are not going to scrub these gems at all. We're going to just stroke over the top, okay, and we're going to go round, gently round the sides. Stroke over the top and gently round the sides. Okay, over the top and gently round the sides. If you scrub at your nib, you will damage it and then you won't have a nice point on there. Okay, so they will only take a few seconds to dry. They are alcohol pens, so they evaporate. Okay, now there was some gems along here, some stitching. I didn't want to put that on. I didn't want something sitting over his head here. It just didn't look right. Okay, so they're the two little pieces I've left off. I love how the greeting is just poking out from the other side, but I wanted some gems. Now we've got some areas at the top here, so I'm going to keep it in line with this flush edge, and I'm going to put 3 little gems coming across. Okay, so I'm going to take those 3, wiggle it a little bit with my tweezers and place one in the corner, press him down, wiggle it with my tweezers and put the next one. And as I've got a little track here in my tweezers, I can keep them in line going across. Okay, so there's the 3rd one, and keep that in line going across because they're in the little sausage of my hockey stick of my tweezers. So I kind of quite like that, and they've just pressed them down firmly to make sure they're all attached. Okay, so how are you liking that? I've got a couple of likes on there, I can see. Okay, so there is my little card, and there is a sketch, and it's finished. Okay, so I was really pleased with how that came out. Unfortunately, I can't get double screens up here. I'd love to, but if I bring this one up, sorry, take that camera down. If I bring this one up for you and bring that across, so you can see one, and then I'm going to switch across down to the screen again. So you can see that's where we started. That's what we were aiming at. And then we end up with the card, the finished article. Camera's showing it as a white. I'm just tilting that slightly. So now that's what we're aiming at, and then this is what we went with. Okay, so I think that they both look really, really good in the that one. Oh, can't get this right again. There we go. So you got me still here. Okay. So yeah, so there's the actual card finished, and I was really pleased how that came out. I'm not clashing the patterns too much on the papers because I've used like a dotty one on here. They're little mini flowers, like a hexagon design in the background. We've got some branches coming out, which there is on the sketches. We've got the little sentiment. I've texturized the background, but it was artistic license as to what we did with that piece. And I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Okay, so I will post a photo of this. I will create a photo with this and the sketch challenge side by side. Oh, thanks, Carol. Thanks, Linda. So if you're ever stuck and if you've got a bit of lack of mojo, just head for your sketches. Go to Pinterest or Google card sketches, and you will be amazed. Certainly Pinterest, you'll be amazed at how many come up. Just find a shape layout that you like and just go with it. They really are quite straightforward, and you interpret that however you like. It's your artistic license what you do. Okay, so that's me. There we go. Bring me back on. There you go. So I really enjoyed that. I just want to remind you, thanks Zena. I just want to remind you that there's just the 2 more days left of the DSP sale. So we've got tonight, and then we've got 29th and the 30th. So Friday night, 9 o'clock, I will be putting the last order through. So if anybody is after any last minute DSP or anything else you want to place an order for, then please just let me know. And I'll get those through by 9 o'clock on Friday. Okay. And the other one is the starter kit, £154 worth of product for just £99. Had a lady with me yesterday who really loves the baby cut and emboss machine, and I said, she said, what's the £99 I've got to spend? So it's the 154. She's virtually getting that mini cut and emboss machine for free, because you only pay £99. So please bear that in mind. If you've got a long shopping list or wish list and you want to place an order, then just get in touch and I can talk you through. Okay. So thanks very much for bearing with me tonight. How are we time-wise? Yeah, that's not bad, 40 minutes. And I love the sketch challenge. So hope you do too. And when I post this, please put all your creations, if you have a go over the next few days, week or whenever, just pop your pictures in the bottom underneath in the thread, and that'll be lovely, and then other people can be inspired as well. Okay, so thanks ever so much. Try and stay cool. It's really hot out there. I'm so thankful that we desperately needed our air conditioning in the car done, and we phoned the garage that we normally use. 2-week waiting list. Okay, and then we phoned ATS in Attleborough in the town here, and I'm in tomorrow at 9:30. Yes, bring it on. Cool car from tomorrow. Okay, so that's me for now. I'm going to pop next door and I'm going to sign off, take the photos, and I will see you again soon. The next one will be Sunday. Okay, so Sunday at 8 o'clock. Okay.